fastest guy alive. I'd fly you round the universe in 5XL5. Way out in space together, conquerors of the sky. My heart would be a fireball, a fireball. Every time I gazed into your starry eyes. We take the path to Jupiter, and maybe very soon we cruise along the Milky Way and land upon the moon. To a wonderland of stardust, we'd zoom our way to Mars. My heart would be a fireball, a fireball, 'cause you would be my Venus of the stars.
One ting straight up. Hey everyone, Samara here at the Space Bar, getting ready to take off with you to catch up on the latest in space news, both around the world and here at Klein School. A couple of big news items flew across our bar over the last month or so. Just a few weeks back, the Space Shuttle Endeavour made its return to Southern California, giving millions a chance to be a part of its encore flight. But on a sad note, the space community, our country, and the world lost a true giant in the history of flight and space exploration. Back on August 5th, Neil Armstrong passed away from complications from heart surgery. Neil Alden Armstrong was born in 1930 to Stephen and Viola Armstrong in Wapakoneta, Ohio. He took his first airplane ride at the age of 6 on, if you can believe this, July 20th, 1936. Neil served in the Navy, flying 78 missions over Korea for a total of 121 hours in the air. He became a test pilot at Edwards Air Force Base, culminating in his flights of the X-15, which he piloted 7 times. In the X-15, he reached speeds close to Mach 6. As part of the New 9, or the second group of American astronauts selected after the Mercury 7, Neil was commander aboard Gemini 8 when a thruster malfunctioned and sent his and Dave Scott's spacecraft spinning out of control. Neil's command control under pressure, which resulted in him bringing his spacecraft safely back to Earth, are now legendary and were a precursor of things to come. Neil was next selected to be commander of Apollo 11, the mission to place the first man on the surface of the moon. Many factors went into this decision, but what may be the most important, Neil's cool hand once again came into play. On final descent to the lunar surface, Armstrong noticed the guidance computer was about to place him in a large boulder field. Taking manual control of the craft from the computer, Neil safely guided the lunar module over a large crater to a safe landing spot now forever known as Tranquility Base. The Eagle had landed. Of course, we all know these most famous words spoken from the surface of the moon.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
In his typically modest manner, Neil never capitalized on his celebrity. In fact, he became someone who shunned the public eye. But when it was time to promote the space program, science, or education, he was once again at the forefront, urging all of us to take that next giant leap. Neil Armstrong was 82 years old.
Neil sure was a heck of a guy. We can all be proud of the way he represented us on the lunar surface and here on Earth. The Space Shuttle Endeavour is right now sitting in a hangar at Los Angeles International Airport, preparing for its journey through the streets of LA to a new home at the California Science Center. Endeavour, the fifth and last space shuttle in NASA's fleet, made a triumphant return to Southern California on Friday, September 21st. Perched atop a modified 747 while being escorted by 4 T-38s, Endeavour took off from Edwards Air Force Base for its final flight around 9 a.m. Heading north, she flew over the Capitol in Sacramento, split the towers of the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco, and spun around Monterey Bay before heading south. Upon entering Los Angeles airspace, Endeavour treated throngs of onlookers as she passed over landmarks such as the Hollywood Sign, Griffith Observatory, and the Getty Museum. From there, it was over to Disneyland and a turn south for Huntington Beach, where she went feet wet for a trip up the coast. You can see here that our film crew caught Endeavour as she was passing by Belmont Shores en route to the Queen Mary in Long Beach, the USS Iowa, and the port of Los Angeles, and on to a landing at LAX. It was a spectacular day for the people of California, many of whom just refused to miss this once-in-a-lifetime experience. Soon we will be able to see Endeavour snaking through the streets of LA en route to a new home at the California Science Center.
Now, as a quick reminder, remember that we are on tap to talk to the International Space Station sometime in early December.
We'll have some updates for you in our next show.
Well, we're getting ready for last call around here. We're glad you all stopped by to visit with us. I'm Samara
And Mary Grace
from the Space Bar. We'll see you on the other side.
But though I'm not a spaceman, famous and renowned, I'm just a guy that's down to earth with both feet on the ground. It's all imagination, I'll never reach the skies. My heart is still a fireball every time